Friends, I'm not gonna lie, out of all the daily routines I'm planning for the new year, this was the hardest and most emotional one for me to script out. The fundamental question underpinning today's video is how much time do I deserve to take for rest? And I have a very difficult time answering that. Welcome back to my 12 Days of Planning series where I'm doing a complete routine diagnostic checkup. So far, I've already tackled my morning, bedtime, self-care, exercise, cleaning, meal prep, and work or commuting routines. But today is day 8, and I'm examining my leisure and hobby routines for 2026. Which actually means that I want to start by establishing some boundaries around my work. As you might have seen in yesterday's video, I have a part-time job that takes me out of the house a few times a week. But my ultimate goal is to build a life where I can be creative and self-employed. I want to publish novels and make YouTube videos. I'll be digging into routines for those pursuits on day 11 and 12. Since I'm investing in writing and YouTube as long-term career paths, I can classify those things in my mind as work. But of course I fall into the trap of feeling like I should be prioritizing my side hustles above everything else. And if I'm not, I'm doing it wrong or wasting my own time. This is especially true because I'm still trying to build a life that does financially support me, and since I'm not there yet, I feel a lot of unease and restlessness. But if anything, that just means I need more leisure time so I can refill the well and show up with energy on my work every single day. And honestly, as a creative person with ADHD, there's so many other things I like to do and want to do and need to do as part of a fulfilling lifestyle. I want to knit and crochet and sew things. I want to compose music. I want to read books. I want to play video games. I want to experience immersive stories created by other humans. I want to bake pies. I want to learn about animals and archaeology and art history. And I want to spend time with people, family and friends and community members. So this year, of course, I want to work hard and do my best to build a solid career foundation, while also staying afloat as a low-income person. Rest is not a luxury. It's a basic human need, and I've decided that I'm going to pay it to myself first. So, after scheduling the commitments that I discussed in previous videos, things like self-care, my part-time job, and commuting routines, leisure is the next priority. I want to schedule dependable leisure time before I schedule writing and YouTube work. But how much time should I give myself? It's really hard for me to answer this, so I'm going to approach it by focusing on healthy boundaries around work itself and around my expectations for the work that I do. To be honest, I'm suspicious of the idea of the 8-hour workday. It's not like a group of scientists and think tank researchers got together and decided that 8 hours was optimal. Actually, most evidence suggests that office and knowledge workers have about 4 good working hours a day. So that's something I want to test this year by tracking some data. Am I more productive with a 2-hour day, 4-hour day, 6-hour day, an 8-hour day, or a mix of different workday lengths? What is actually sustainable for me? Because one of the issues I experience is that I'm simply not capable of showing up in the same way every day, week after week. Even if I tried to push myself during low energy days, there is truly an upper limit on what I'm capable of. Pushing myself too hard when I'm dealing with pain or brain fog or dysregulation or my menstrual cycle just leads to more recovery time later. So I'm never saving time from pushing myself. I'm usually burning it on the other end. So I have to acknowledge that there are some days where I can happily work for 8 hours because I'm in hyperfocus mode. And then there are days where it's a struggle to work for even 2 hours. So I decided to make a visual schedule template for a low, a mid, and a high energy week. In the morning, I can ask myself whether it feels like a low or a mid or a high energy day, and then hold myself to a reasonable and appropriate expectation for what I can do. This is just to answer the question in the long term of how many hours I should work each day or week. Because honestly, I don't know what I should expect from myself. And in my uncertainty, I usually err on the side of pushing myself too hard, as if I feel the need to prove something. But then that backfires on me when I avoid the work because I'm making it too hard for myself. So I'd like to stop doing that. Now that we've put some buffers on our work hours, let's talk about what is included in leisure time. Does leisure mean everything you do outside of working and sleeping, or does it simply mean indulgent time spent resting and relaxing? Because the thing is, the way my brain compartmentalizes information, it's hard to distinguish between non-work hours when I'm still making demands on myself, like cooking and cleaning and showering and self-care, and non-work hours when I make demands on myself to do hard work that's fun, like studying a language or crafting or playing an instrument, and then non-work hours that are truly for rest. Earlier, I mentioned the 8-hour workday. In America, the push to standardize the 8-hour day was because factory workers used to work 10 to 16-hour days. And that led to some serious safety issues with fatigued laborers operating heavy and dangerous machinery. The motto at the time was 8 hours for work, 8 hours for sleep, 8 hours for what we will. It's easy to divide a day of 24 hours into 3 sets of 3. In modern productivity circles, this is called the 8-8-8 rule. So 8 hours sleep, 8 hours work, but that doesn't actually mean 8 hours of true leisure. It means that you're fitting all the rest of your life into that 8-hour remainder. All the personal responsibilities, self-care, commute, errands, cleaning, caretaking, cooking, socializing, and then whatever time is left over can be spent on rest. Oh wait, unless you have a side hustle, or you're taking a class, or trying to build a skill. Self-development and personal education also has to fit into those hours. Crafting, playing an instrument, learning things. So I guess my leisure also has to include space for doing hard activities that I do for fun, not just resting and relaxing. So how do I find balance, making sure that I do what I need to do, that I can do what I want to do, and that I still have time to recuperate? Partly this is achieved by developing my other routines to create a reliable foundation where I know when my basic responsibilities will get done, so I'm not taking time making decisions about the how and the why and the where every day. This includes my morning, bedtime, self-care, and exercise routines, as well as food prep routines, cleaning and house chore routines, and work and commuting routines. Having reliable routines helps me feel confident about identifying the times outside of those routines when I can let things go. And partly I think I do need to be flexible about the work hours because I know that sometimes I'll hit an energetic 3-day cycle and work nonstop because I want to, and then the next week I might want to rest and binge a video game. So if I let myself have a shorter workday when my energy is low, I'm more likely to work harder when my energy is high, because my body trusts that I'll have rest time at the other end, and I won't just be spending my energy week after week with no reliable breaks. So basically, I'm imagining my time outside of work as an allotment of hours, flexible hours that can be moved around my schedule. The first thing that has to fill up this time are my chores and responsibilities, taking care of myself and my basic needs, taking care of my home, and showing up for my commitments, reserving time for social events, meetups, appointments, and plans with friends. The time that's left over is time I can spend on true hobby activities. Unscheduled free time that I can spend however I want to. And that doesn't mean that this stuff has to wait for the end of the day. I see no reason why I can't bookend my day with leisure, take some time for it in the morning, take a long break during the middle of my workday to refill my energy, and also have time at the end of the day. So those are my 3 main leisure times of day. In the mid-morning after waking up but before I start work, during a midday break, and in the evening after the workday ends but before I go to sleep. So this represents my mid-morning routine, my midday break, and my evening leisure routine. The mid-morning routine happens after my morning routine and first meal of the day, but before my workday routines start. I've mentioned the mid-morning routine category a couple of times so far. Once during day 3's discussion of self-care, when I said it was a good time to meditate and also journal, and the other from my mini chore checklist that I discussed on day 5. I have one small daily priority for a home cleaning task where I basically try to get as much done as I can in 10 minutes and then call it good. But I also think that my mid-morning routine is a perfect time for hobby activities. It's really good for activities involving emotional regulation, refilling the well, anything that grounds me, helps me calm down and focus, and start the workday with a good attitude. So the mid-morning routine is a great time to read, study nonfiction, update my planners, journal, meditate, craft things, and basically to do productive leisure. I like to have a menu of options that I can choose from for my mid-morning routine. I'm not expecting myself to do this and this and this and this. It's like I'm just choosing one thing off the list. Then in the middle of the day, I want to schedule breaks for myself to rest my mind, eat food, and do a short exercise. There is definitely the option to expand this into other leisure activities if I decide that there's something really appropriate that fits here. And then in the evenings, I want to have the kind of leisure where I'm free to make any choices I want. That means I can do anything off the productive leisure list, but I can also watch YouTube, play video games, whatever. So basically, I want my morning leisure to set me up for the day, stimulate my mind, and help me grow as a person. I want my midday leisure to be a nourishing break so I can return to my work with energy. And I want my evening leisure to be anything goes, a true reward for getting through the day. The final part of planning this system is to examine my project management or project menu system. It's basically a holding area to flip through and track all these different life priorities that I have. When you have a lot of hobbies and you have ADHD, it's surprisingly easy to completely forget about the things that you care about. This messy master list of projects is a good visual reminder of everything I like to do, and it's very easy to edit and update because it's on discs. I'm using note pages from the Happy Planner system here, but you can find other disc-bound systems or buy a hole punch to assemble your own papers. When I felt bored but I couldn't make a decision about what to do, I could flip through my project menu system. In reality, I forget to do this, and I use it more for refreshing my memory about my projects and priorities during my monthly or quarterly reset. But I do want to remember to use it as a resource more often. When I'm stuck and I don't know what to do, I want to remember to take this off the shelf and flip through it until I find something that looks appealing, just like I'm choosing off a menu. So I want to include a reminder to check my project menu or my dopamine menu that I mentioned in yesterday's routines during these leisure routines. And I think that basically covers the most important questions. When will I do leisure? How can I protect my time for leisure? What categories does it include? And how can I make deliberate decisions about spending my leisure time? If you enjoyed this video, I have good news for you because upcoming releases include planning my reset and administrative routines, planning my planning routines, planning my writing routines, and planning my YouTube routines for 2026. Subscribe if you'd like, and hopefully I'll see you tomorrow. Have a good one, everybody.